We've talked a lot about and watched the evolution of ARCA Sim Racing by the Sim Factory, but now it's time to break down the sim and see how it really does now that it's taken its final form. It's been a very long time since a new oval sim came on the market, so we are very excited about this one. The sim comes on a DVD, so first things first, make sure your sim rig has a DVD drive or you won't be able to install. Installing the sim is very straightforward, so we'll move right into firing it up. During startup, you will go to the very recognizable ISI-based configuration menu. Select your settings, and we move right into the sim. Upon firing it up, I was expecting some serious kick-ass intro music and a great intro movie, but I was left disappointed when the sim gets right into the menu with no song and dance. The menu is similar to most sims nowadays, giving you options for game settings, user profiles, media center, or showroom, and then test session, race weekend, or race online. Moving our attention over to graphics, let's start things off with the cars themselves. The cars in the sim are very well done, with plenty of attention to detail being given to the cars themselves. Included in the ARCA series are the Chevy, Pontiac, Dodge, Ford, and Toyota. In addition to great exteriors, the sim has fantastic interior views as well. To recreate the real-life sensation, they have great gauges and many interior components. Also, roll bars and safety devices, all restricting your view. Drivers will have an almost claustrophobic view, and this is all true when looking in the mirror or the look-back buttons as well. Sticking with graphics, we move to the tracks themselves. The sim comes with 10 different oval tracks ranging in distance from a half mile all the way to 2.66 miles in length. The tracks included in the sim are the Milwaukee Mile, USA International, Daytona, DeCoin State Fairgrounds, Iowa Speedway, Kansas, Nashville, Pocono, Salem, and Talladega. Again, when it comes to attention to detail, the Sim Factory guys have gone all out. The tracks have tons of detail, with realistic looking road textures, magnificent grandstands, catch fences that look like real life, and many other nice effects on the tracks. Next up would be the game sound. Fat American V8 engines. Get in your sim and your sound system will come to life. Not to mention what your butt kicker would do if you have one of those. You will not only be hearing these cars, but you're going to be feeling them. These are the sounds that bring a smile to my face, and I'm just idling in the garages. Revving up the motor, you can hear the power behind it. Rolling out at a pit or garage speeds, you can hear the whirl of the cut gears as you ease off the gas. At full speed, the engine is roaring, begging for more until banging on the rev limiter. The sounds alone are enough to give you a rush of speed. When driving around other cars, there is a nice balance between other players and your own car's noises. There are 3 different driving modes with the ARCA Sim. They are Test Session, Race Weekend, and Race Online. Starting off in a test session, we can pick any track and take the car out all by ourselves. You will start off in the garages, and winding your way out to pit lane will take familiarization with each track. In single player mode, you can select any of the tracks and race against the computer AI. Things will start off in the practice mode for you to set up your car and prepare for your qualifying. After your qualifying run, it will be a small warm-up period to adjust your car for the race to come. You can set up the race in advance to any length and can adjust the computer drivers to any speed that you may need. The computer's AI are fairly predictable in their behavior and pretty much just get in line. They will race against you hard, but don't seem to really use their heads much. For the most part, I would say they are fine for practicing against, but not the intention of the sim. Lastly is Race Online. This is the bread and butter of the sim. From here you can go to the online lobby and see all the servers that are running ARCA. You can also see how many players are in each room. Once you are comfortable with the sim, this is where you're going to want to be. Whether you're in a league looking for the server, or you're just looking for a pickup race to run against real-life competition, it is done through this lobby. But we will get back to this topic when we start driving. So we talked about options, we talked about sounds, we talked about graphics. So how does the sim really drive? Again, starting out in the garages during practice, the car rolls out with ease. The car will instantly react to any wheel or throttle input that you offer. In fact, give it too much gas and you will light up the cold tires with no problem. Getting out onto the track, the car definitely lets you know that you are still on those cold tires. Even while getting up to speed, these cars can step out if you aren't paying attention. As speed and tire temps start to increase, so does the fun. The car's handling feels just like one would expect a stock car to handle like. As you enter the corners, the attention really turns to the front wheels. The Sim has some of the best sliding of tire sensations that I have ever felt. The key to stock car racing is tires. Tires wins races, and the ARCA Sim lets you really get a feel for what the tires are doing at all times on the track. If you enter a corner too fast, you can literally sense the front tires losing traction as your car pushes up the track. The moment they start to gain grip, the steering will come back. This all holds true of the rear wheels as well, giving you the ability to use the gas pedal to help the car turn. Having a car that felt slightly tight, I pulled into the pits and asked my pit crew for some changes. So with a new set of tires and some air pressure adjustments, we will see how sensitive the Sim is to setups. Once again, you will need to get your new tires up to temps, but those setup changes we made really changed the car. I'm getting the rear of the car to glide in now instead of fighting with the front of the car. Going online, we'll see how they hold themselves in a crowd. Now things are really starting to get fun. You will find that the Sim allows you to try different lines. There are multiple grooves allowing you to pass your opponents inside or out. The harder you push the cars, the more you will be wearing down your tires. The ARCA Sim has the best tire realism that I've ever played. And by that I mean, the Sim rewards the drivers that protects their tires. I am now watching races where the faster guys are actually running out of tires and going backwards through the pack, as some of the middle speed guys have cars that could go twice the laps. And now we get to the best thing about the ARCA Sim compared to its former oval competitors, Contact. The Contact model for the ARCA Sim is the best that I have ever used. You can put your bumper right on the car in front of you. Bump it too hard and the car will wiggle or even spin out of control. Give it a tap and it will move slightly. But just like real-life oval racing, a well-timed nudge could move a competitor up the track and doesn't always send them spinning out of control or end over end like previous oval sims. The Sim allows for and encourages 2 and 3 wide racing, and the cars may touch and bump. This has never been possible online to this level before. Lap after lap and nudge after nudge, I am still blown away by how accurately the ARCA Sim does the actual racing. It looks real, it feels real, and this sim is, as they claim, as real as it gets. So fantastic racing is going to lead to one thing, that's for sure, and that's crashes. Oval racing leads to crashes, and there will be no shortage of that here. The damage models in ARCA are pretty good, with the damage being more noticeable in the car than out. Panels will get punched in, and the bumpers will dent, but the cars will stay pretty much intact. Big-time rollovers will leave a car looking mostly ready to drive away. It won't, but it will look better than it runs. Well, to make things really easy, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of the ARCA Sim. Let's start off with the cons. The Sim is a bit light in content. There are currently only 10 tracks and 1 car set or series. I know there are many more on the way, but right now that is a bit light for the sticker price of $50. In addition, there are a bug or two, such as the sound bug, where all of a sudden the engine sounds just turn off. Oh, I have no sound. This could be catastrophic if at the wrong time. Oh, I have no controls. Also, my sim reset all the controls once and I had to go back to remapping them. A very small gripe was the lack of an intro movie. Not a big deal, but I never realized how much I really enjoy the build-up of firing up my favorite sim. I would have liked some instructions along with the DVD. It seemed a bit bare in the packaging all alone. There is no season mode for the single player. However, this is obviously made for online racing. So that's about it for what I don't like. Some of those details are small, some are being fixed hopefully, but none of them take away from my enjoyment of the sim much. Now on to the good things about the ARCA Sim. The Sim Factory has hit the mark on many items. The graphics in ARCA Sim Racing are very good. The car models look great out on the track, and speaking of the tracks, these places are spectacular. To top off the graphics, the sim has some thunderous sounds that give you a great sensation of the power and the speeds that you are running. The sim also has great physics, and there are 2 areas that this is most apparent. The first would be setup. Any changes that one would make will be noticeable and realistic in the sim. Drivers with real-life experience will take their knowledge to the sim and get the results they expect. Tire wear also shows off the physics that are ARCA Sim Racing. Tire management has become one of the most important aspects of the sim. Overdriving and bad setups will use up tires, decreasing your odds of winning races. This will also force more realistic pitting strategies and allow for more strategy in races. And lastly is really the most important thing for me when it comes to sim titles, and that is the multiplayer code. ARCA Sim Racing has some of the best online coding out there. This is making 3-wide racing not only a possibility, but a reality. In addition to that, it is allowing drivers to come into contact with each other. Rubbing is racing, and there will be more of that than ever before. And totaling up all of the scores for ARCA Sim Racing, you can see that my average score was an 82.7. Meanwhile, Darren has given it an 84.6. Both of these are great scores, and with the addition of more tracks and the coming patch, those scores would be much higher. Well, there's my review of ARCA Sim Racing. It's a great sim, and for all you oval fans, you could do no better. For more information about the sim, go to arcasimracing.com and you can check it out there. If you're ready to buy the sim, go to thesimfactory.com and you can purchase your copy there. I'm Shaun Cole of SRT.